Hello and welcome to the November 2013 Black Friday edition of Picking Up the Crap, my series that looks at the hardware and software sales numbers for the video game industry. I'm your host, the one, the only Jodecideion. The sales numbers used in the Picking Up the Crap series are gathered from people in the Neogaf video game sales thread. These numbers are either direct quotes from the companies in question, or the numbers are estimates that are hinted to by people with the official numbers who are willing to give us close hints to the real numbers without getting busted by the NPD. So while these numbers are not the official numbers in some cases, they're still closer to the actual numbers and more accurate than other video game sales sites. Here are the top 10 best-selling games across all platforms for the month of November 2013. For the first time in a long time, I do not have any information on what any of the games in the top 10 sold. So there's no way I can estimate how much is sold below the highest or above the lowest. I will tell you their placement in the overall top 10 and then tell you which console they sold the best on. The best-selling game across all platforms for the month of November 2013 was Call of Duty Ghosts, across 6 platforms, selling best on Xbox 360. Number 2, Battlefield 4, across 5 platforms, selling best on Xbox 360. Number 3, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, across 6 platforms, selling best on Xbox 360. Number 4, Madden NFL 25, across 4 platforms, selling best on Xbox 360. Number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, across 2 platforms, selling best on Xbox 360. Number 6, NBA K214, across 5 platforms, selling once again best on Xbox 360. Number 7, Skylanders Swap Force, across 7 platforms, selling best on the Nintendo Wii. Number 8, Just Dance 2014, across 5 platforms, selling best on Nintendo Wii. Number 9, Disney Infinity, across 5 platforms, selling best on the Nintendo Wii. And number 10, FIFA 14, across 5 platforms, selling best on Xbox 360. Here are the hardware numbers for the month of November 2013. First, let me state, these numbers are a mix of official press release numbers by the companies and numbers that are hinted at by people who have NPD access. The best-selling console for the month of November was the PlayStation 4, selling around 1.14 million consoles. Number 2, and from an official press release from Microsoft, the Xbox One, selling 909,000 systems. Number 3, and the best-selling handheld device, selling an official 770,000 systems, the Nintendo 3DS. Number 4, with an official press release number of 647,000, the Xbox 360. Number 5, selling somewhere in the 425,000 range, the PlayStation 3. Number 6, selling 220,000 systems from the official release by Nintendo, the Nintendo Wii U. Number 7, selling somewhere in between 75,000 and 70,000 systems, the PlayStation Vita. And last but not least, somehow, after being pretty much dead in the market for like 2 or 3 years now, the Nintendo Wii sold 67,000 systems in the month of November. Now it's time to go public. And in this first segment, I'm going to look at the estimates I gave for Black Friday. Try to see how close I was or how far off I was. Starting with Microsoft. I was only 100,000 behind what the Xbox One actually did. I predicted 800,000. They did 909,000. So I was pretty close. When it comes to the Xbox 360, I thought they could sell about 500,000 systems in both months. Mainly because I felt people will want to get the next generation console. But as you can see, there's so many great games on these 7th generation consoles and people don't have that money to afford the brand new consoles, they went out and bought the cheaper Xbox 360. And so my seventh generation numbers are all wrong across the board from Sony and Microsoft. They got blown out the water. I predicted 500,000 for the both months, and they've already sold 600,000 in 1 month. So expect that to go up in December. And so, like I said, my seventh generation console numbers are wrong because there's still a strong demand for those consoles because there's so many great games out on the market right now for those consoles compared to the next gen consoles. Now, when it comes to Sony, we already knew the official, somewhat official, press release numbers for the PS4, where Sony said they sold about 1.2 million in the first week or whatever, in the first matter of days. The NPD suggests it's a little bit below that, but you can go ahead and officially round to 1.2, 1.14, but you can round it up to 1.2, so it's pretty accurate. Now, like I said, I was totally wrong when it comes to the seventh generation console, the PS3. I figured it would be the best selling amongst the seventh generation consoles, but like I said, I was wrong. My estimate was 2 months, 700,000, and in 1 month it already sold almost that. So, like I said, there's gonna be a high demand for the PS3 and Xbox 360 this holiday. They're gonna sell extremely well, a lot more than I expected. When it comes to the PlayStation Vita, I thought maybe in 2 months it could sell 200,000 systems, and as we can see, it's sold only around below 75,000 systems. So I'm totally off on that. I thought the PS4 being a controller for it and everything, the remote play, would boost the sales of that in North America, and I was wrong. No, regardless of what deal you can find, regardless of what bundle you can find, regardless of using it for actually that function, people didn't want to buy the system. So it stunk up the place at below 75,000 systems in November. Now my Nintendo predictions. I was only 80,000 more than what Wii U actually did. And my prediction was actually lowballing it because I just felt a realistic number, 300,000 would be it to show signs that the Wii U was, had some life in it. If it's sold way above that, then actually show either there's a great game out, people realize there's a new console, or maybe great marketing got people interested in it. But since it's so below my expectations, which are pretty low, it's one of those signs where the Wii U is going to struggle. A new game may come and give it a bump, but it's never ever going to be just selling traditionally what's called great numbers. Next, I'm very disappointed in the 3DS family numbers. I thought the 3DS could do in November around 1 million systems easily. There's so many great deals out there. Target had the 150 bundle with a game, any system you wanted. The Gold 3DS, the Animal Crossing 3DS, whatever you can find. The 2DS at Walmart was $99. If you want a 3DS, 2DS console, you can find it anywhere during Black Friday for real cheap. And there's so many great games out. So I figure 1 million easily would be achievable for the 3DS. And it only sold 700 and so thousand systems. And so those numbers are extremely down. There's still a market for dedicated handhelds, but I'm telling you, people, kids are wanting phones. They're wanting those other devices, and they're buying other devices over handhelds. No matter how much great the games are, no matter how much us hardcore gamers want to believe is not true. Kids are not buying these things, and it's showing in the Vita and it's showing in the 3DS numbers. So, for my adjusted predictions for December, I really think and believe the Xbox One is going to be the best-selling console in December, mainly because the supply. You can find an Xbox One anywhere. Microsoft has done a great job supplying their stores, their retailers with Xbox Ones. No matter where you go, there's plenty of stock. If you want one, you can have one. Where in the case with Sony, even though people are saying it's the most popular console right now, people really want that. You can't find anywhere, and Sony's doing a piss poor job sending them to stores. For example, at my store during Black Friday, they got new shipments in of new consoles. They got about 20 Xbox Ones. They only got 5 PS4s. I went to Best Buy the other day. In store, on stock, they had around 100 Xbox Ones in store. They had about 10 PS4s. Sony is doing well in Europe, and so they're trying to supply Europe with consoles as well. So they're suffering here in the United States trying to supply the people here. So basically, you find one, you buy it, and it's gone. Xbox One, they're there. And so just by sheer supply, I see the Xbox One being the best-selling console in December. On the Nintendo side, there's still a 3DS out there and great deals, great bundles. I do believe it's going to sell more than it did in November. How much more? We'll never know. It should reach 1 million, but like I said, you never know. Maybe it just hit 900,000. The Wii U, there's been a push on that lately. New advertisement, new commercials. It appeared on Ellen the other day. Maybe that can help the Wii U come out of this, this dungeon it's in. 200,000 on Black Friday is pathetic. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care what you want to believe. That's horrible. If the Wii U can get 500,000, 600,000, if it can at least match its launch numbers in December, that'd be a good sign. If it doesn't, it is what it is. Next, let me address something very close to my heart. The debut sales of two great exclusive titles for Nintendo consoles. Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U and The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds for Nintendo 3DS. Both games launched on November 22nd, 2 days prior of Black Friday. 3D World combined, physical and digitally, sold 215,000. And The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds combined, if you include the bundle, sold 405,000 copies. But digital and physical only sold 280,000 copies of the game alone. Both these games are Game of the Year contenders, highly rated, some of the best rated games of the year, and exclusively to Nintendo consoles. Yet, in the first month of the release, during Black Friday, the most busiest, the time when people buy most games of the year, they sold 200,000 each amongst themselves. This is to a user base who proclaimed they wanted content, proclaimed they wanted great games, proclaimed that they needed something fresh, something new. And Nintendo delivered. And once again, people didn't buy. There are currently over 1 million Wii U users in the United States, and at least 10 million users of 3DS owners in the United States. When you look at that, and only 200,000 sold amongst them, you're trying to figure out, what are you buying? Why you didn't buy it? Is there Mario fatigue? Is there Zelda fatigue? I don't know, because when I look at the sales of other Mario games, I can't see how they would be affected, how these new games would be affected by them. Not too many people bought the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker remake for the Wii U, and that's a 3D game. So that game should have any effect on a 2D game on another console. There hasn't been a Mario game since Super Luigi U came out in the summer. But once again, this is a 3D game, and that's a 2D game. Two different concepts. Yet, 3D World, a highly rated game, only sold 200,000 at launch. Now, people are going to say, don't worry about the sales. Nintendo games are evergreen games. You know what evergreen really means? Evergreen means that every time someone new buy a console, there are certain games they're guaranteed to pick up with that new purchase. So you buy a Wii U a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're going to buy Super Mario 3D World and all the other great games. That's evergreen. Evergreen is not the people who already got the console who then decide months later they're going to finally buy the game. That's not evergreen. And it's just one of those things where I look at and you're trying to figure out, what were they buying? Well, it seemed like they were buying other consoles. It seemed like they were buying other games. I feel these games, being highly rated as they are, that people felt, well, hell, I'll sit on that game because I know it's great. I don't have to have it. I know it's good. People say it's great. I know it's great. I'll sit on it and I'll buy it later when I need it. When that drought come, when I had something I really want is come out, I'll buy this game then and play it then. No, it's your money and you can do what you want to. But things like this, decisions like that affects other games being made, affects other things happening. And so if you wonder why this ain't going on months later, years later, go back to this great game that everybody said they wanted, that everybody's proclaimed to be one of the best games ever. Go back to that moment when you decided you didn't have to have it right then. When you treated the best game ever like just another game, when it's not. In this final segment of Going Public, I want to talk about the release of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. While the industry has touted their successful launches as the dawning of a new age of gaming, gamers going to bounce back when it comes to sell numbers, when it comes to the industry. I believe their launches did not paint the actual picture they're presenting to us. We all know the seventh generation went on a lot longer than usual, and gamers are looking for new hardware, and gamers want new consoles to buy, and so they did that. That's where we're seeing this huge demand for these consoles come from. People are rushing out to buy because they want it now. They rather buy it now, sit on it, and wait till the games they want come out. Most hardcore gamers, most gamers do that in general. You buy a console at launch for the potential of the future. The problem is with that, when you buy for the potential, and the potential doesn't come fast enough, things get stale, and people stop purchasing things. This is what happened to the Wii U. Most gamers bought it for the potential, and then when the potential didn't show up, they stopped buying it altogether. Not to say that the Xbox One and the PS4 is going to suffer the same fate as the Wii U, but there's one sign that I found alarming that could suggest so, and that's the sale of software on the next gen consoles. We do know, according to the NPD, that the PlayStation 4 was a lead console when it comes to software. That's a title that the 360 had the entire generation between the 360 and the PS3. So right now, the PS4 has the lead. It's the platform of choice when it comes to software, with the majority of that software being third-party multiplat you can find across multiple platforms. It's the exclusives that usually sell the console, and on both consoles, the exclusive underperform incredibly. The best-selling exclusive amongst next-gen consoles was Killzone Shadowfall for the PS4, selling 270,000 copies. Every other exclusive across other platforms sold below that number. And if you look at past NPD charts and past console releases, it's usually the exclusive that moves the hardware. It's a game that could continue selling in the early months because that's the game that got people excited for the console. Where with the Xbox One and PS4, the game that getting excited by the console are the third-party games, not the first-party games. I'm not sitting here telling you that 270,000 is a bad number, but when a console sells a million, when a console sells 900,000, you would think the exclusive would have a higher attraction rate. And with the months after Christmas being the slow time of the year, where there are not too many big third-party releases, the exclusives are what keep the console flourishing. And if people are not buying the console for their exclusives, and they're buying for third-party games only, and those third-party games are not coming, and they're not the spectacular AAA third-party games, are you really gonna go out there and buy the console now? You may wait for that bigger game to come out later in the year. So while I believe a lack of a killer exclusive amongst both consoles may have an effect on future sales of the hardware, I'm not saying it's going to be Wii U level, but it could be quite similar. If anything, Microsoft currently has the advantage. Sony's next exclusive is the next game in the Infamous series, Infamous Second Son, a series that's done moderately well, but still I would consider a major blockbuster. Now, Microsoft and Xbox One in March have the brand new first-person shooter exclusive Titanfall, a game that's been hyped since E3's premiere. If that game turned to be what we think it is, that could be the game that started getting these Xbox Ones selling off the shelves like crack. Alright, everybody, that was it for this month's Pick Up the Crap. I'll be back on time next month with the December's numbers. Until next time, take care.